Next game, Seahawks at the Redskins. This line opened up Seahawks -5. It's up to 6. So who do you like here?
Yeah, I'm going to like the Seahawks here. Washington just beat the 49ers and they've won 4 in a row. So they have some nice momentum, but they're doing it in a way that's pretty unsustainable, especially against really good, well-rounded teams like the Seahawks. Against the 49ers, 14 of their 23 points came on defense. So they didn't have any offensive touchdowns. They only had 9 points on that side of the ball. They still won because Chase Young and all the players on the defensive line and the back seven are playing really, really, really well right now. It's going to be harder for them to do the same things they did against Nick Mullins, against Russell Wilson, for obvious reasons. Wilson is much more mobile, and he has better and healthier receivers at his disposal. So I think even if you see them get some pressure and some sacks on Wilson, Wilson's still going to find ways to move the ball down the field, and Chris Carson will move the chains a little bit, I think. I know that Washington's really good against the run, but I think Carson will still be able to move it. And then you look at the offense for Washington. Alex Smith is banged up. We don't know if he's going to play. There's optimism that he will, but he's dealing with a calf strain in his injured calf. So, or on his injured leg, rather, the one that he had 17 surgeries on. So you best believe they're going to be extra cautious with him because of that. And if he can't play, it's Dwayne Haskins against the Seahawks defense, and I'd give the significant advantage to the Seahawks there because Haskins hasn't shown the ability to consistently move the ball downfield. I think that Seattle's going to start strong and just build a lead that Washington can't overcome with their offense. So I'm going to take the Seahawks -6 at this point, probably for a couple units. I just don't think that Washington's healthy enough on offense because in addition to Smith, they may be without Antonio Gibson, and then Terry McLaurin was a little banged up against the 49ers too.
Yeah, how scared were you when Haskins came in, and then especially when he had that almost interception that barely hit the ground, and they had to overturn it. Like as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh my god, the Niners are going to win by 3. We're going to get a push, or like worst case scenario, they win by 6 in overtime. Like Haskins is just so bad, and yeah, I mean, I think he made Chase Young play even harder than he was already because like Chase Young is like, I have to dominate this game because we're not going to score ever again. So it's just Haskins is just so brutal. We don't know Alex Smith's status yet. So we'll see what happens, but he was kind of like hobbling around, like maybe not like completely limping, but he was hobbling in and out of the locker room. So yeah, I mean, Seattle is just a team that's coming together right now. Like they lost to the Giants a couple weeks ago, but now they have their offensive line fully intact for the first time since week 5. And if Quentin Dunbar comes back, which he almost did last week, they're going to have their secondary intact for the first time since week 4. So they're definitely going to be a lot better than they were a few weeks ago when they were losing to the Giants and the Rams. So I like Seattle here. This line is not ideal that it's crossed or it's hit 6 up from 5. But I still like Seattle. And if you're wondering about the Seahawks playing an early game on the East Coast, Pete Carroll's got this figured out. He's 13-7 against the spread in early East Coast games. So no worries about that. I feel like Seattle should be able to win this one easily. Just want to see what happens with Alex Smith and whether he starts or not.
Yeah, and I think they obviously said they're optimistic about it, but like we said earlier, optimistic doesn't really matter about anything. They could use Jason Campbell right now. Russell Wilson could get sacked 7 times. I still think that he could do well, even if he does get sacked 7 times. So I'm not too worried about this. I feel like Washington's due for a loss. It's just an unsustainable way to play football. And, they win ugly, but that's kind of what they've done under Alex Smith when he's been healthy for this team. So props to them for being able to do that. And I think Alex Smith still doesn't get enough credit for what he does do, which is play mistake-free football.
Yeah, well, he either gets no credit or he gets too much credit because I have someone in my comment section on my picks page saying Alex Smith's a great quarterback. He's like 10-4 in his last 14 starts. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I guess he's more than twice as good as Deshaun Watson because the Texans have 4 wins this year. Like, come on. And then I said like Trent Dilfer was one of the top 54 quarterbacks of all time because he won a Super Bowl. Like, you can't really judge it on that. But Smith he's done a good job. Like, he's a great game manager. That's what he is. He's just so limited right now. And I think against elite teams, I just don't think he can win. I know he beat Pittsburgh, but the Steelers have a lot of problems right now. So